Hey everybody, Rosemary here, and welcome to my reaction and discussion for episodes 5 and 6 of Serial Experiments Lain. We continue on with the confusion the last couple of episodes. Like, things have been happening. Lain has been changing. She's definitely different from how she was at the beginning. She's more outgoing. She is getting deeper and deeper into the wired, into obsessing over the computers. She got like a little, I can't remember what it was called, but it was a little thing, I guess, to be able to like connect her to the wired more. So she just got it at that club that she was at in episode 2, and it's a big deal. It's worth a lot of money. She doesn't quite know what it is, so someone sent it to her. And we also had things like the introduction of the knights. I'm not sure what the knights do exactly, and also learning that there is this online game that people who play the game, they end up killing themselves after they play it, or supposedly they do. But then we saw an example of a guy who was like in the real world, but he was also in the game and he was being chased by something. There's like this little girl that was chasing a guy, and then there was like Lain herself, or a version of Lain was chasing this guy. So we have to think about, like, we have different versions of Lain with different personalities, and it seems maybe that the wired version of Lain is seeping into the real world and is taking over this other Lain, and it's a whole thing of like, who is she? Which one is the true Lain? Um, just a whole lot of weirdness going on. I still don't quite know what's going on, to be honest. Hopefully, these next couple of episodes might shine a little bit more light into what the heck is going on. Only one way to find out, though. Let's go ahead, let's watch these episodes, and I'll give you guys my thoughts afterwards. Okay, so that's Lain speaking. So she's talking about, like, if you can hear it, or if it calls to you, you hear it, and if you can see it, which she is seeing something out in the world. Oh, yeah, another thing too is like those guys with the weird eye things that were like parked outside of Lane's house. And she was able to yell at them and like blew off one of their eye gadgets. So they're watching her for some reason. And there's this. This is what it is about. Like, you don't need to be in your body anymore. You can join the wired. You can rid yourself of your body. That's what her classmate, Chisa, I believe is her name. That's what she said she was going to do, or what she did do. I am God. Okay. She can speak to God of the Wired, because Chisa also said that in her email, right? About how, like, God is here. Okay, now we have her sister. Her sister, who seems to be the only normal member of the family. Okay. I say that as her sister is like the only normal one, and yet she seems to just be off in her own world too. Maybe it's just something in this family. They all do this. But she seems to be the only one that's like realizing something might be wrong with Lain, and she talked to her family about it, and they seem to be unbothered by it. Well, we do know that she likes dolls and stuff. Is that little thing supposed to be like that girl that we saw chasing that guy in the last episode? Is she like that version of that doll? Maybe? I don't know what's going on. How old is Lain supposed to be here? Is this recent time? Like, is this present day, or is this when she was younger? Oh, well, she doesn't have her computer, so she must be younger. So I guess Lain was always kind of like this, being able to hear things that don't exist or might not exist. Oh, so they have auto drive. It's funny. They not too far off from what is happening in present time with they want like auto drive vehicles. Okay, so now the wired is potentially messing with stuff and causing accidents, just causing people to die, whether through that video game or having people like come to the wired and having them commit suicide. I guess this whole thing is about like the fear of, you know, the advancements of technology. Also, the fact that what's her sister's name? Mika? Like, just missed Lain? Like, they just happen to be in the same area and don't even notice it? Is that the kid that was from the club? He's such a weird little kid. Oh, really getting more screen time on the sister. The other side is overcrowded. The dead will have no place to go. That's a little, yeah, little concerning thing to be passing out to people. Wait, what? What is okay, what is happening right now? She's just standing in the middle of the road? Oh gosh. She doesn't even seem surprised by it. She did. Wow. I feel like most siblings would at least be like, "Oh my gosh, I have to like go and run and grab her if before she gets hit by a car." I can't make heads or tails of the characters in this. They act so differently from what I would assume. Okay, now she's taking over the billboard. Is she talking to herself through the... Oh my gosh, there's just... It's just flashes of things happening, and I'm trying to connect everything, being like, what's going on right now? I feel like there's even less structure. I was hoping that I would get more information. There's less structure in this episode than the previous ones. This one, it feels like there's flashbacks, flash forwards. Is... Oh, maybe when she was talking to the doll, she is talking in present time. She's just okay. I don't know. And then, okay, now we're just cutting away to something completely different. See, she seems to be back to kind of her old self again instead of being like that happy self that she was last time. They talk about like hacking that billboard with her picture on it. So that's almost like the other Lain is taking over her body and doing things that she doesn't even know she's doing. Is that implying that Lain was also the one who hacked the auto car function as well and potentially caused an accident? So there's the mention of the Knights again. I want to know who are the Knights? Okay, super hacker group. So are they the hackers working with Lain? Against Lain? Are they working with the Wired? Were those guys in the car that were watching Lain, are they part of the Knights or are they trying to stop them? I feel like trying to stop her. Oh my god. This episode feels more of like a trip than any of the other ones, and that's saying something. And they are saying again that basically like people are almost like you don't need the body because the brain is the same as like a computer, just electric synapses and whatnot. It just makes me watching the family makes me so uncomfortable. This is so different from like having dinner with my family because just nobody talks to each other. It's almost like just a bunch of strangers just sitting with each other. It's too quiet. I don't like it. And also, is she not going to mention, yeah, like, hey, I saw you standing on the road? Like, thank you. I'm glad she's bringing it up. Oh, that's creepy. Creepy, creepy. There's the anime glasses again. Wait, now she's in the middle of the road? When's this happen? What? Did she take the place of, is she starting to see the Wired? Is that, because they said the thing is like, if you can see it, does that mean she's gonna get sucked into it too? Okay, that looked slightly like a religious thing. It looked like a god thing. So she's starting to lose it here. I'm glad to see somebody reacting appropriately, I find, to seeing that stuff. Like, she's actually starting to lose it. And Lain was with them, but now she's not there? Isn't it weren't those Lain's friends? Oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. Fulfill the prophecy. Oh my god. What is this episode? I bet her reflection's gonna, like, start acting on its own. Or not? So she said she was having dinner with her mom and dad, and then she had all those flashbacks? So this is all happening in her head? This is turning into a horror, actually. Like, there were some creepy moments before. I'm okay. If we start delving into more horror aspects, I'm like, hey, I'm okay with that. Like, there's definitely, to me, there's something a little unnerving about this in general. Partially because I don't know what's going on, because of Lain's reactions, because the characters, a lot of them don't act like people, how I'd expect them to act, especially her family. Now we're getting a straight up, like, this is more kind of like a horror flavor. Fulfill the prophecy. Okay, no. Okay. Lain's almost been taking a back seat in this episode. It's like she's barely been in it at all. Deus-like embodiment? So here's the thing about God again. Okay, well, we're definitely seeing aspects of that. And there's the whole thing about prophecy again. That's what I feel like this episode should have been called. They're talking about the prophecy so much. Wonder if she's gonna talk to Lain a little bit more about, like, what's happening. Lane's just gonna be staring at all creepy like. No light behind the eyes. So she's part of the prophecy somehow. Strange that they're telling Mika to fulfill the prophecy, not Lain. Oh wait, she's seeing herself. Oh my gosh. Okay. I guess it's once again about things like, oh, that's creepy, and now she's just almost acting like Lain. I guess it's going back to like who's the real person, not just with Lain, but with Mika as well. Like what's real, what isn't. Okay, who is it today? What does that mean? Maybe this will be the episode where I might get some more concrete answers, but somehow I doubt it. Is he finally gonna go in and be like, yo, Lain, what's gotten into you? Like, are any of these family members going to actually talk to her for more than like 2 sentences? This is very concerning behavior. Like, nobody's talking about it. At least the dad seems to be. Although, a couple of episodes he didn't seem that concerned. Oh, what is this now? Oh my god, it's like a virus, right? Is that what it is? It's like it's coming into the real world, it's like taking over her space. Okay, well, she certainly, man, I know some people have some really OP computer setups, but this is on a whole nother level. It's so creepy. He's just like, where'd you get all this stuff? I know we've got money, but what? It is. It's like, yeah, it's almost like a virus just spreading out and just like the tendrils and everything just like taking over her room. And she's like that different personality inside the Wired, like a lot more talkative and emotive. Knights, okay. The Knights. Who are the Knights? Also, interesting, this episode is called Kids. What is that? Like, I guess we'll find out. Oh, okay. Well, there's a kid. He's praying to something, it looks like. I know it's the style and I know like it's probably meant to do this, but the lack of colors just kind of puts me off. Like I know that's what it's supposed to do. It's just this very muted, bland color scheme, which I'm not used to in my shows. Like, yeah, some of them can be a little bit dark, but it's just so stark and different. Yeah, we liked you better when you had emotions. At least they're trying to reach out to her. She needs to have an intervention. At least her friends are keeping watching out for her. Her family doesn't seem as concerned. Her dad a little bit. Definitely what's her name again? Akusu? Akusu? Arisu. Arisu, that's it. I wonder if another accident's going to happen here. Oh, no, it's okay. Is that the same kid or is that a different kid? That's creepy as hell. I just, when you think it couldn't get any creepier, you just have children silently just praying to something. Oh? Is that like the wire tearing into the... Oh, it's her? Is she God? What's happening? Oh, they can see it too? Oh my gosh, they can see it. Okay, I was figuring maybe it was just like her own delusion. Oh, okay. Yeah, her sister's not doing well. Oh, wow, she's... Oh my goodness. It's just like she's drugged or something. Just, wow. That's concerning. Also, Lain looks really cute in that outfit. That's like peak 90s, early 2000s. Very cute. Okay. Oh, she looks mad. Yeah, she looks like very different. She looks older, just more like, I don't know, confident. So she can go into the wired. So not a lot of people can do that. So I don't think she is God, because she said she spoke to God. Okay, so it's back to that game. Is it the same game that we saw before? With like that dungeon game? Or is it a different one? Child killer scientist. Okay. I do not like his laughing. So she knows about this guy somehow, despite the fact that other people apparently don't know about him being a kid killer? Did he do experiments on them? Is that Mika over there too? Or is that a nurse? Okay, so 15 years ago he did something, and then somebody is reusing it. The Kensington experiment. I wonder if that's a real thing. So someone's replicating it and doing something to kids. Okay. Okay, I'm assuming this probably is not a real thing, experiment that happened in the real world. I'm still a little confused by this. So, like, they have almost like psychic abilities, and then he tried to get a bunch of kids together to, like, hack into that ability to make energy power? Okay. So does that mean those kids that are affected, are they going to die? They won't return to the real world. Okay. I wonder if the knights are doing this. Now we have rogues. Okay. Maybe the rogues are the knights? What is their plan, though, with doing this? Knights, okay. So they're not great people, apparently. They're manipulating, like, creating this program to use the power of children, and now, like, they can't return to the real world. I guess assuming, like, their consciousness or whatever. Is it going to go to the wired? Like, are they basically going to become, like, zombies in the real world? Oh, there's those dots from those. The guys have returned again. And they're like, hey, it's like, I got a new one. Try not to blow this one up. Oh, I'm glad she gets it, because I sure don't. Okay, so they are knights. That's why I wasn't sure. Like, are they knights? Are they trying to fight against the knights and stop Lain? So creepy. Or are they? Oh, maybe they're not? So maybe they are trying to protect her. Or keep an eye on her. I want to know who these guys are. What the heck? So, okay, so the knights. So they're not the knights. The knights are trying to either maybe kill her or, like, stop her from. I don't know. I thought the knights were, like, kind of working with her. Because she's, like, apparently this big deal in the Wire. The knights also work in the Wire, but they also seem to be kind of a rogue group. Okay. Not a lot of answers to that, but we got some at least. All right, so interesting couple of episodes. It's somehow it feels like each episode is just getting more and more like obtuse and like almost dreamlike. Just like at least this past episode, like while it was really crazy, it was kind of following more of a cohesive timeline of when things were happening. The first episode, episode 5, like it just felt so disjointed. Maybe it's to kind of get into the head of Mika. But yeah, it was funny how like the episode 5 really focused on Mika and her mental state just declining, kind of having the touches of seeing the wired or seeing things like that, and she can't handle it. I guess there are some people who are able to handle it, like Lain, because she's just powerful, or she's just special somehow. And then Mika, she sees it, and like we saw in this episode that just passed, like she's almost catatonic. It's kind of funny how it reversed, whereas like Mika was the more like outgoing one, more the like social one, normal, and now it's kind of been flipped where Lain is the one. It's like the mother said about how like Mika's the one who's just staying at home early, more introverted, and Lain is the one who's staying out, hanging out with her friends. So I guess Lain's personalities continue to change, although we did see that reversion back to kind of her introverted self. And even I believe Arisu said something like that about how like I guess she's delving more into the wired, into the computer, talking to people, but still actually hanging out with her friends, and she seemed to have some emotions. But yeah, just really weird. Like the episode 5 was just so disjointed, and it kind of unnerved me a bit. I'm not gonna lie. Like there were some horror aspects with Mika not quite knowing what's going on and just kind of losing her sense of reality. And speaking of losing their sense of reality, also this kids episode, learning that the children are being manipulated, I assume by the knights who took this old experiment by the professor, turning it into a game and getting like the kids into it. And as they do, I guess that's it, the children in the real world who've played the game, they're losing their sense of reality too, and just praying to God, who might be Lain, question mark. So the knights are using the children, I guess, to kind of like use their ESP powers, trying to make the Wired stronger, I guess, maybe to like increase its power, maybe to be able to go into the real world. So they're using children, and the professor, I think, said that like once the children are at that state, they can never go back to the real world again. So it's just they lose their sense of reality, sense of self, and they just get absorbed into the wire. I hope I'm extrapolating this correctly, and it seems like Miko, same thing. The things that she's seen about there's also the thing about the prophecy, fulfilling the prophecy, whatever that is. And Lain was talking to a doll, and then she was talking to her parents about the prophecy as well. And it seems like Mika has also been affected by it, and now she seems to have lost her sense as well of who she is, as like she saw different versions of herself. There's the different versions of Mika, the different versions of Lain. I'm assuming it's a whole thing about like your real self versus yourself online. Who is the real you? And we did learn something else, that those guys in black outside of her, at first I thought they were kind of enemies of her. They were keeping an eye on her and like maybe they were trying to stop her, but now it seems like they might actually kind of be on her side. So they're definitely not knights. It seems like the knights are actually the ones that are potentially trying to harm Lain. Don't know why. It seems like Lain wants to stop this because of the kids being affected, and she doesn't agree with that, so maybe she's going to be going against the knights. And those guys actually saved her from potentially being blown up in her room. So maybe she'll team up with them and we'll figure out what's going on. I have no idea which way this is going to go. I still feel like I don't quite know what's happening, to be honest. At least I got some answers of some things that are happening, but I've kind of given up on like the episodes clearing things up for me. I'm sure they will to some degree, but I feel like it is a little bit more of an obtuse show that makes you think about stuff, and you maybe have to come to your own conclusions, or maybe I'm just dumb and I'm not catching on to what's going on. But that's going to be it for my reaction and discussion for episodes 5 and 6. Will episodes 7 and 8 clear anything up? Who knows at this point? Maybe, maybe not. But so we'll just have to wait and see. I hope you guys enjoyed. Of course, leave comments down below with anything that you'd like to add on to the conversation. And I will see you next week for my reaction to episodes 7 and 8. Until then, bye. Special shoutouts to my top tier patrons: Emily Hornsby, Lady of Eternity, Revealing Storm, Asborn Kennedy, Jared Fan, Harry Gazif, Icognito, and Zoran Ether.